So we'll see the first one, that is partition coefficient. And when we discuss on, or whenever we talk about partition coefficient, there are two membrane layers that are involved. That is the lipid layer membrane and the aqueous membrane. And you have to study the concentration of the drug in the lipid layer as well as in the aqueous membrane layer. Okay. Now, for theoretical purposes, we always take octanol and water. So we determine the concentration of the drug in octanol, and we also determine the concentration of the drug in water, and we take a ratio of it and the log of that particular fraction. Okay. So what does this tell you? The partition coefficient value. The partition coefficient value will tell you the concentration of the drug in the aqueous membrane and the concentration of the drug in the lipid bilayer membrane as well. And when you will plot a graph of log 1 by C versus log P value, you will get two different types of graphs. One type of graph would be a straight line, okay, and the other type of graph would be a U-shaped or a bell-shaped curve. Okay, so when you are plotting a graph, after you find out the concentration of the drug in octanol as well as in water, you find out what you do is you plot a graph, and when you plot a graph of log 1 by C versus log P, you will get two different types of graphs. One graph would be a straight line, and the second graph would be, or the second type of graph would be a bell-shaped curve. Okay, so when would you get a straight line and when would you get a bell-shaped curve? You would get a straight line graph when as the concentration of the drug increases, the binding of the drug with the site of action or with the receptors keeps on increasing. Okay, in that case, in that type of a drug, you would get a straight line graph, and you would get a bell-shaped curve, which will indicate that as that slowly or gradually the concentration of the drug is increasing, it reaches the maximum value, that is the tip of the bell-shaped curve, and at the tip of the bell-shaped curve, it has reached its maximum concentration, and it can bind well to the site of action or to the receptor to which it is supposed to bind. And after a period of time, metabolism of the drug will start, and slowly the concentration of the drug shall eventually fall down. Okay, so these are the two different types of graphs that you could get when you are studying the parameter of partition coefficient. Okay, now what does partition coefficient convey to you? So partition coefficient, or the log P value of a drug, conveys to you how much is the drug hydrophobic, that is the hydrophobicity of the drug. Okay, it conveys to you the relative concentration of the drug in octanol as well as in water. That means it conveys to you the concentration of the drug in the lipid layer membrane as well as in the aqueous membrane. It also tells you the concentration of the drug that is required for the specific biological or specific pharmacological activity, which means that at a particular concentration, which is if you draw the bell-shaped curve, you will be able to visualize and understand that at a particular concentration, that is at the tip of the bell-shaped curve, the concentration of the drug in the membrane is maximum, and at this particular concentration, the activity of the drug is also at its peak. Okay. Now the other parameter for hydrophobicity other than partition coefficient, if you recollect, is the pi constant. So what is this pi constant? Now when you see a particular organic molecule, organic structure, it may be a drug or it may or may not have any pharmaceutical application. It is having both lipophilic groups and hydrophilic groups. Okay, so some part of the structure is hydrophobic in nature, and some part of the structure is also lipophilic in nature. Now this pi constant can have two values. That means it can have a positive value and it can be of a negative value as well. So what is this positive value of pi indicate, and what does the negative value of pi indicate? In general, the pi constant will tell you the hydrophobic part of the binding site which is going to interact with your drug structure. Okay, and the positive value of the pi is the positive value of the pi is the one which is more hydrophobic in nature compared to hydrogen, and the negative value of pi it is having those substituents which are less hydrophobic as compared to hydrogen. Okay, so when you are estimating the pi constant value, or when you are using the software to determine the pi constant value, the software or you are in general comparing the particular substituents and their hydrophobicity to a standard, and that standard is hydrogen. Okay, so if you have substituents whose value is more than that of hydrogen, you will have a positive value for pi. Okay, and if you have substituents whose value is lesser than that of hydrogen, then you will have a negative value of pi. Now it is there is no hard and fast rule that you should have only positive values or only negative values. You know that the entire human body or the biological membrane is having both hydrophilic and lipophilic membranes, and the drug has to pass through all of them. So you cannot have substituents which are only having pi constant values which are more than hydrogen, or pi constant values which are lesser than hydrogen. So you cannot constantly have negative pi constant value or a positive pi constant value. When you are designing the drug structure, when you are choosing the substituents that you are going to place on your particular drug constituent, you have to choose such that you balance out the hydrophobicity and the lipophilicity, rather hydrophilicity and the lipophilicity of the drug structure, so that you have an ideal drug structure which will easily get absorbed, which will easily pass through all the lipid bilayer membranes, which will easily bind, or it will bind sufficiently, not easily, sufficiently to the particular receptor structure. It will release the receptors on time, because if you are going to have a drug which binds for a prolonged period of time to the receptors, then also you are going to have drug clearance issues from the system, and then after it has detached itself from the receptor, it should be easily, or it should be clearly metabolized also, or it should be cleared out of the human body system as well. Okay.